Hello everybody, welcome to Coco's Crochet. I'm Nitsa and today we'll be showcasing everybody's makes for our hashtag Birthstones Cal 2025. Each and every month for the last 10 months, and now we've got 2 to go because this is a year-long cal, we have been showcasing and highlighting the birthstone for that month. Granted, there are sometimes more than one choice for each month, and that's okay, and we will talk about October's choices before we showcase everybody's amazing makes. And we have 29 entries today, some of which have been previous winners. We'll talk about that in just a moment. So basically, as we said, this is a very simple cal. We take inspiration from the color or colors from that birthstone for the month, and then you can create anything you like. Along the way, we have got aviaries that are growing, snakes that are growing, blankets that are growing, and so much more along the way. So much to ooh and ah over. So I highly recommend that you bring along a project that is quite mindless. Sit back and relax while you watch the show. Now, our friend Rose at Rose Likes Crochet, so many of you already know her. If not, go along and say hello. She makes beautiful stitch markers. She does have an Etsy store, so go and head over there, favor the store and favor some of her makes, especially the stitch markers. So basically, about a year ago now, I approached Rose and I said, hey, I've got this idea and I really need some prizes, and I'd love to use your stitch markers. So I purchased 12 sets of stitch markers off Rose, one for each month, and Rose put them all together and she's the one that ships them out to you. And how do you get an opportunity to win a set of stitch markers, you ask me, if you're very new to our cal? Well, basically you just have to send an entry in to my email before the end of the month, and then I showcase it. And in this little barrel here, bingo barrel, every entry receives a little ball, and you will see that tonight. Everyone has their nominated ball, which we pop in the barrel, and then in about 3 days time, so I think by Wednesday, the 6th of November, what's this, Monday, 5th or 6th of November, I'll come back and we will draw the winner of this beautiful set of stitch markers here. Now, each month you get a little cocoa dog, of course. Then you get a little ball of yarn, some other little surprise, and whatever the birthstone happened to be. Now, last month we went with tourmaline, which is, I have found out thanks to our friend Laura P, the modern version of the birthstone. So let me tell you what Laura shared with us. She tells us, why are there 2 birthstones for October? The traditional versus modern. So opal is the traditional and tourmaline or tourmaline was added as a modern alternative. So tonight you're going to see both of those birthstones showcased, which is so wonderful, and both of them have such a great variety of colors amongst them. So tonight you're going to see like a rainbow of colors. It is awesome. But I suggested that we use, because that's what I'm going to use, and that's what that stitch marker had in it, was a peachy apricot color. And you'd be surprised how many people didn't have that color in their stash. And I myself only had one ball of the millions that I've been using to create my blanket, which I thought was the closest to it. Now, we are going to showcase everyone's makes in just a moment, but before we do that, I'm going to show you my square. So basically what I've been doing is making a sunburst granny square each and every month out of blanket yarn, and let me show it to you here. This blanket is going to be so warm. Look at that, guys. It looks a little bit wobbly now, but it actually is a beautiful blanket, and I absolutely love the sunburst granny square. I have made a few things of it along the way in the last year. So basically I use my millions, closest color as possible, and that's our mantra here, you know, close enough is good enough, because we just want to use our stash yarn as much as we can. I do use a 9mm hook for my sunburst granny square, and along the way it's been a great learning curve for me how to adjust a pattern to suit your project. So I have been known to put less double crochets or treble crochets in the corners. I have been making my puff stitches a little bit less puffy so that it sits flatter at the end. So this blanket has been, like I said, not only a fun project but a learning curve for me as well. So that's wonderful, and I have been sharing all those little you know, changes along the way. So my blanket is nearly there, just like many of yours. Now we only have 2 more months to go, so November and December, but in my blanket I'm putting 16 squares, so I do have an extra square in each corner, like this one here. So it's going to be a really nice size blanket. So let me pop this down for now. And that, without, like I always say, without any further ado, let's get on to showcasing your makes, because we do have quite a few to get through. Okay, glasses on, guys, because I have to be able to read my own handwriting. So we'll start off with our friend Shirley. Here is Shirley's snowflake square. Shirley used red heart yarn in the colour Perfect Pink. Shirley's sister and niece have birthdays in October, and they've always known pink as the birthstone. Shirley's blanket looks very pretty as it grows. Thank you so much, Shirley. And your ball is White B3. Now, I should have said at the very beginning, to all of our friends and your family, you know, and neighbours and, you know, everybody else in your family and friendship circle that celebrated, and yourselves, because I know quite a few had a birthday in October. Happy birthday to you. I hope you had a wonderful month, and, you know, wishing you all the best for the year ahead. So hip hip hooray. I myself, in our family, we had at least 4, 5 or 6 birthdays, so it was a huge month as well. Okay, back to the showcase. Now next we have our friend Roseanne P. Here is Roseanne's baby blanket made from Spotlight Millends, acrylic yarn and a 5mm hook. The pattern is by Roberta Mayer. It's the cross stitch pattern, and it is just so pretty. So thank you so much, Rosanna. Here is your ball. It is green 065. There you go. Now next we have our friend Alley Cat. Alley Cat crocheted prayer squares and named them Hues of Tourmaline, as tourmaline has a wide variety of colours. The prayer squares have been donated to the chaplain at the local hospital and a faith-based women's shelter. That is so beautiful. So Alley Cat, oops, I don't want to pull out 2 at a time. Your ball is green 064. Now next we have our friend Natasha from Hooks and Stitches. She has a YouTube channel. Go ahead and visit her if you don't already do so. Now here is Natasha's C2C square. Natasha went with traditional opal. It's very pretty. Natasha used Signet yarn in DK called Mother of Pearl. It's so pretty. Natasha, thank you so much for sending in your square, and your ball is Red Eye 19. Now next we have our friend Julianne. Julianne was our June winner, so Julianne will not get a ball because we all agreed as a community that whoever won would just enter, of course, because, you know, we want to see all your makes, and they are such wonderful cheerleaders that they continue. All of our yarny friends that have won a set of stitch markers continue to wow us with their makes. But that way, more chances for more people to win the stitch markers. I absolutely love that. So here is Julianne's beanie. It will be donated to the Coats for Kids campaign. They also take scarves and mittens and beanies. And Julianne used big twist value yarn and a 5mm hook. The beanie is absolutely beautiful. So thank you, Julianne, for your beautiful make for October. Now next we have Annette, and Annette is our April winner. Once again, thank you, Annette, for continuing to send in your makes to us. Now here is Annette's square. The circle represents the birthstone, and the pattern is by The Secret Yarnery. Annette used Aran weight yarn and a 5.5mm hook. I just can't wait to see this blanket finished. In actual fact, all the blankets finished, including mine. Now next we have our friend Missa Pippin, and Missa has 3 makes to share with us, as she has done so each and every month. Now she tells us that as October is her daughter's and grandson's birthday month, they have always loved the opal. Missa took inspiration from an opal gifted to her daughter by her grandmother. That's just so beautiful. I love that. Now, this willow square is a YouTube tutorial by Crochet with Child. Missa used DK weight yarn and a 4mm hook. The baby doll and sleeping bag pattern is a purchase pattern from Etsy by Horgolada Design. Missa used DK weight yarn and a 4mm hook. And oh, I love this. The snake pattern is a purchase pattern from Etsy by the Crochet Code, and I absolutely love watching him grow each and every month. So thank you so much, Missa, for sending in your makes to us. And your ball is yellow N35. And next we have our friend Valerie H. Stella is wearing her beanie. Valerie found just enough scrap yarn in her stash to make it. The beanie is a YouTube tutorial by Happy Crochet Club. That is so awesome. Thank you so much, Valerie, for sending in Stella's beanie. And your ball is, let me get it off the little stack here, white B8. Are you all taking note of your balls? Now next we have our friend Laura P. Laura's blanket looks so pretty. The addition of the pink square is perfect. The black border makes all the colours pop. Thank you so much, Laura, for sending in your square and your blanket. And your ball is yellow N31. And next we have our friend Valerie R. Valerie shares 3 makes with us. This super adorable teddy is called Martha. Valerie has made quite a few as she loves teddies. The YouTube tutorial is by Sharon Ojala. He is very, very cute, or she is very, very cute. Valerie made a couple of gift bags. No particular pattern, she tells us. Both were made up by her, and they're so, so pretty. You really need to zoom into them, guys. So Valerie, thank you so much for sending in your makes. Your ball is red I18. Now next we have our friend Josephine, and she too has shared 3 super cute makes with us. This kitten is by Chai Coffee Crochet, and it is a free pattern from Kozu Palm Pets. Josephine used Premier Basic DK yarn in the colour white and a 2.75mm hook. This little kitty is going into Josephine's box of random acts of crochet kindness. I love that. Now this dolphin is a pattern from Amigurumi Critters book by Amy Ting of Curious Papaya. Josephine used 4-weight scrap yarn in pink and a 2.75mm clover hook. And this little axolotl is from Amigurumi Critters book. Josephine used 2 scrap yarns in peach colour and a 2.75mm clover hook. The dolphin and axolotl will go in a donation box. Thank you so much, Josephine, for sharing your makes with us. Your ball is green O62. And now we have our friend Helen R. Now Helen is our February winner. So thank you so much, Helen, for sending in your make to us. This very pretty dishcloth was made with loops and threads, classic cotton in the colour salmon, and a 5.5mm hook. It is a daisy wheel pattern. It's so, so pretty. Thank you so much, Helen, for sharing with us. Now next we have our friend Marie E. Marie made 2 blankets, and they're both going to Camp Boggy Creek. Those of you that have been with us for a long time, including watching our podcast, you know that Marie donates quite a few blankets each year to Camp Boggy Creek. Now this ripple pattern is by Crystal at Bag O' Day. It's the Easy Ripple Blanket. Marie used loops and threads yarn in apricot and a beautiful variegated yarn. And she also used a 5mm hook. Now this blanket is another Bag O' Day pattern, the Para Stitch. Marie used loops and threads yarn and an eye or a 5mm hook. Thank you so much, Marie, for sharing your blankets with us. Your ball is yellow N34. And next we have our friend Pearl. Pearl went with traditional opal. This kitty ears beanie is a pattern from Bag O' Day. Pearl used a very pretty pink sparkly yarn. It's absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much, Pearl, for sharing. And your ball is white B7. Next we have our friend Suzanne G. Susan crocheted this Sticks and Stones beanie YouTube tutorial by me here at Coco's Crochet. Susan used Sullivan's 100% polyester yarn from her stash. Since she tells us since she lost that yarn chicken, there's a bright pink brim on it. Happy accident, I say, because it looks absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much, Susan, for sharing your Sticks and Stones beanie with us. Your ball is Blue G50. Now next we have our friend KK from K&K Crochet. Again, if you're not hanging out with her and her daughter Kristen, please go ahead and say hello. Now KK is our September winner, so thank you for sending in your make to share with us. So here are KK's beanies. They are both so pretty. I love how KK used the variegated yarn in both the beanies. Thank you so much, KK, for sharing with us. Next we have our friend Diane S, and Diane shares two makes with us. Here are two beanies. Diane used Hobby Lobby I Love This yarn. One of the colors is light peach, and Diane used a 5.5mm hook. Now this super cute unicorn square is for the animal blanket Diane is building. Diane used Hobby Lobby I Love This yarn in a beautiful luminescent yarn with flecks representing opals and a 5mm hook, which I do believe is Diane's favourite hook size. So Diane, thank you so much for sharing your makes with us. Your ball is Green 068. Now next we have our friend Vicky D. Courtney is wearing a beautiful sun hat made with a number 3 weight yarn, which I think is a DK or an 8-ply, bamboo yarn, and a 3mm and a 4mm hook. Thank you so much, Vicky, for sharing Courtney's sun hat with us. And your ball is, drumroll, is Yellow N37. Next we have our friend Sally from Nanny Moon's Crochet. Now Sally has her own YouTube channel. If you're not already hanging out with her, go and say hello. Now Sally shares two makes with us. Here is the Bon Bon Beanie, a Bag-O-Day pattern. Sally used Woolcraft New Fashion yarn in the colour Flesh and Stylecraft Baby Sparkle in the colour Apricot. They were held together and a 6.5mm hook. And this cowl is the same yarn made up pattern by Sally and a 6.5mm hook. They're both so beautiful. Thank you so much, Sally, for sharing with us. And your ball is White V6. Now next we have our friend Star Shelton, and Amy, Star's dog, looks so adorable next to the beautiful beanies that are going to be donated to Bumblebee's Mountain Outreach, which is K&K Crochet's outreach, KK and Kristen, and they're still accepting donations up until Thanksgiving, I believe. So if you have any spare beanies and you're able to, please send them across to them. Their target is almost met, so let's help them get there. So Star Shelton, thank you so much for sharing your beanies and Amy with us. So your ball is Red Eye 20. Now next we have our friend Margaret V, and Margaret shares 3 makes with us. Everyone has been so busy. Now this lucky dog pattern is from the book Crochet One Skein Wonders. Margaret used I Love This yarn in the colorway City Beat and a 4mm hook. Now this book sleeve is a winged pattern by Margaret. The yarn is I Love This yarn in the colorway City Beat, and Margaret used a 5.5mm hook and a leaf button from her stash. And this, so this is Lola the cat, and she's from the book Amigurumi Made Easy. Margaret used a peach colour yarn from her stash, and I Love This yarn in City Beat with a 3.5mm hook. And they are all so super cute. Thank you so much, Margaret, for sharing. Now your ball is Green 066. Next we have our friend Bella from Bella's Crochet Gifts. Again, if you don't already hang out with her, please go and say hello. Now, Bella shares her squares for Fire Opal, Citrine and Blue Topaz. Bella crochets blankets for charities, and she's boxing them up to send them off So she put her blanket together sooner than we all have, but that's all okay. Bella has crocheted a granny square for each month and joined them in black. Bella, I ask you to please share your completed beanie with us if and when you can. That'll be wonderful. So thank you once again for sharing with us. And your ball is White B1. And next we have our friend Amy B. Amy shares a few makes with us. So this very pretty cowl and hat is made with Big Twist Party in the colorway Sunset. Perfect representation of the peach color. Now this beanie is made using Lime Brand Ferris wheel yarn in the colorway, I think it's Green Forest or something like that. I'm sorry, Amy, I didn't write it down. Amy said that she held 2 strands together, and I actually have some of this Ferris wheel yarn in my stash, and I know how super soft it is. So thank you so much, Amy, for sharing your makes with us. Your ball is Blue G47. Next we have our friend Marta H. Marta crocheted the Scorpio from the Crochet Society book Zodiac Amigurumi Digital Patterns. Marta chose the Scorpio because it matched the birthstone color and because Scorpio is one of the star signs for October. That's so awesome, I say, and he is super cute. Thank you so much, Marta, for sharing him. Now your ball is White B2. And next we have our friend Sharon K. Here is Sharon's heart square for October. Sharon used a peach yarn from Hobie and used a very cute hook with a little elephant decoration on top. Thank you so much, Sharon, for sharing. And your ball is Red Eye 16. And next we have our friend Jana K. from her new YouTube channel, Leave It to Stitches. If you're not already hanging out with her, go and say hello to her as well. Now, Jana K is our July winner, so thank you, Jana K, for sending in your make for October. So here is the Sticks and Stones beanie pattern by me, YouTube tutorial here at Coco's Crochet. I can never get enough of saying that, guys. Now, Jana K used yarn from Nepal. That's pretty fancy, right? It's a DK acrylic in a very pretty peach color. Thank you so much, Jana K, for sharing your Sticks and Stones beanie with us. Now, next we have our friend Lynn from Lynn Penguin Creations. Once again, she has a YouTube channel. If you're not already hanging out with her, go and say hello. Now, Lynn is our March winner, so thank you for sending in your make for October, Lynn. Now, Lynn went with traditional opal. Lynn's heart square is so very, very pretty. Lynn used a white silver sparkle yarn from her stash, and the black border just makes the color pop, right, guys? So thank you so much, Lynn, for sharing your square with us. Now, next we have our friend Kimberly. Here is Kimberly's Sunburst Granny Square. Kimberly used I Love This yarn in the color Cherry Blossom and a 5mm hook. Another very pretty square. Kimberly, I cannot wait to see your blanket as well. We're going to have a very, very matchy blankets. I love that. So Kimberly, your ball is Red Eye 22. And lucky last, we have our friend Caroline. Here's the latest addition to our aviary. Caroline used a 3-weight yarn in a peachy color and a tiny 2.25mm hook. Another very sweet little bird. He is so, so cute. Caroline, thank you so much for sharing with us. Your ball is Red Eye 17. And that's it, guys. How amazing were all those makes? I could hear you all oohing and ahhing in the background. I absolutely love that. I certainly have been inspired by everyone to really pull up my game, but all I managed to make is a square each month, and that is wonderful too, because those of us that are growing our blankets, we have to stick to our theme, right? So we've got 2 months and then we'll have them all put together, whatever we're making, and maybe at the very beginning of next year, I'll ask you all to send in the collection of what you've made. If you haven't given it all away, that is, because I do know that along the way, a lot of you are donating a lot of your makes, which is just so wonderful. Now, let's get on to November's birthstone. So once again, we're faced with 2. So I'm guessing it's traditional and modern, but it's very, very simple for this month because it's either the yellow topaz or citrine, which is also yellow. It comes in a range of from pale yellow to honey yellow. So I guess any yellow in your stash and my stash will do. Isn't that wonderful? Now here it tells us a little bit about the citrine. That's the one I've got here, because this is the one that we're going to be, this is the stitch marker that we're going to be guided by, and will be the one that the winner will receive in November, that is. So the citrine, it tells us here, it was used in jewelry dated back to Hellenistic age, 323 to 280 BC in Greece. Oh, I should have known that. At one time, it was used as a talisman against alcoholism, evil thoughts, overindulgences, scandal, and treachery. Some carried it as protection against plague, epidemics, venomous snake, and reptile bites, and it symbolizes calmness. Oh, I like that part of it very, very much. So that's it, guys. Get cracking on your makes for November. We've got until the end of the month to get them all to me by email. So 30th of November, Sydney, Australia time, midnight. Please have them all to me, and then we're going to do this all over again. But before that, we're going to spin this crazy little wheel on this little barrel. It's not a wheel, this little barrel on Wednesday, and the winner of our stitch markers will be drawn, and then I'll ask you to do something, and then you can send me your address and I will send it to Rose and she will post your beautiful set of stitch markers off to you. So that's it, guys. Thank you once again for joining us. To all our cheerleaders that come across, you know, we do really appreciate that you do that, because without you, we wouldn't have a show, like an audience for the showcase. So thank you so very much to all of you. I hope you're all keeping well. And until I see you all very, very soon, take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.